African entrepreneur. And before we start, kick off our webinar, we would like to give a brief bio on both our guests. So first, I welcome everyone, and I welcome our guests, Jonathan and Bisi. So before we start, I will give a brief biography on both of our guests. So first, we start, ladies first, Bisi. So Bisi is based in Lagos, Nigeria. She's a business transformation expert with over 19 years of experience in real estate businesses that was passed to her by her father. With her working experience with the major corporate and private equity clients in Lagos, USA, Canada, Australia, Japan, China, Europe, and North America, as the CEO and a lead broker in Ahead Away. That's her company, and she's the CEO of Ahead Away. Her ultimate mission is to provide first-class service to all her property investors and clients. Very interesting bio, amazing, and welcome, Bisi. The second bio is our second guest is Jonathan. Jonathan is a serial entrepreneur in the real estate space with a greater Toronto area in Canada, and a co-founder of a community-based nonprofit focused on serving the East African community. So amazing bio from our second guest, Jonathan. So welcome, Jonathan, with us. To start with, before we start, we'll have a question to our both amazing guests. So, first question is to kick this webinar for both Jonathan and Bisi. If you both, you have the experience and the knowledge in the real estate market and as being an entrepreneur, would you both share your journey with us as being an entrepreneur in this, industry of a real estate? So if, Jonathan and Bisi give their opinion and the view on their journey as an entrepreneur. So we can start with Bisi, again, ladies first. So if Bisi can share her journey with us in this amazing Saturday webinar on Africa, entrepreneurs, and real estate.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Hi to everyone from all over, wherever, whatever country you are connecting from. I hope we are doing fine, and compliment of the season to us all.
Thank you.
Okay. It's a pleasure to share my thoughts and wealth of experience with us here on this platform. So my real estate journey, or let me say the entrepreneur journey so far, I started with my father as a teenager. He has been a real estate agent in Nigeria, and he was fortunate to be one of those educated ones. Then, so in their days, it was just from skills, the local real estate agent, but he was fortunate to be one of the educated ones that came into the real estate agency. And alongside with him, I was working, even though it wasn't a willing job, I was working like a PA to him, looking at transaction, bank transactions, looking at workers on site, because he metamorphosed from real estate agency into rental income investor. So he was into building, renting, and rental income investment. He started, making more money. And, the more you do that job, the more opportunity you see into diversification. So he finally diversified into that. So I was really much involved, even in that diversification, how we cash in money from rental income and all those stuffs. So that was how I got those. I had the first-hand experience, like I was actually into skill acquisition, even though it was not a voluntary thing for me, but I had to just do it. And as even a first child, so I had no option than just to go into that. So I got my entrepreneurial skills through that opportunity, even though it wasn't something I was willing to do, but that skill, I started, working along with him and got that opportunity, and I had no option but to just grab it. So after graduation in the university, I studied biochemistry. I went into manufacturing, especially the pharmaceutical aspect of it. And I saw myself that I was just not comfortable with 8 to 5 job. I did it, the atmosphere was okay, but I was not comfortable. I wasn't that just complacent. No, I wasn't. So I was fortunate along that side to have somebody that has an entrepreneurial spirit as my quality assurance manager, because I was actually in the quality assurance department. I was in the science lab doing a lot of analysis, but I wasn't comfortable. So he saw that kind of spirit in me and he drew me near to himself. So I went through all the aspects of quality assurance in pharmaceuticals, from the production to processing to documentation to packaging. So I was fortunate to have all that skill. And at a time, he just called me and said, "You are young. I can see vibrancy in you. I want you to look at manufacturing as a person." So that was how he was able to tap that out of me. And I started thinking about it, that I can't just be here locked up inside somewhere between 8 to 5. There's no room for innovation. I can't just continue like that. I had skills in me. And that was how I began to think about, what can I do with that thing in me? So from there, I didn't just stop there. I got another appointment even to open up a quality assurance department in an already existing manufacturing company. They didn't have that, and their production was getting so high industrial, and they needed that. So somebody just invited me, and before I knew it, I, alongside an engineer, we opened up the quality assurance for that company. And to the glory of God, I rose up to the level of the head of that quality assurance department. Even there, I was not still comfortable. Everything, I was not comfortable. I even initiated that we should move into like shift so that we have time to do some other entrepreneurial things. I started selling and buying things, selling. Even my off time, I was never complacent. So that the energy was just there, that I was vibrating, and I was like, I can't be locked up somewhere. There is more to life than just 8 to 5 or just this penny that comes in. And at a time, I had to make up my mind that no, I can't just stay here. So I had to tried a lot of businesses. I have been into the travel agent school even after graduation from Balchem. So I had a lot of opportunities. I started tapping into it. And I saw that I was able to talk to people because of that opportunity I had with my dad. I had the boldness that has been instilled in me. So I was able to talk, I was able to market. So I thought, I saw this creative ability. So I started tapping the ability, and the opportunity for real estate came as a result of this quest for me to get a piece of land to establish my manufacturing company. And I was like, wow, this is what skills my father has inculcated unknowingly in me. And that was how the real estate business started.
Yeah, that's really amazing and interesting journey. And I think, you had the passion, with getting into this market of real estate and being an entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Bisi. And we would love to hear from Jonathan, if you can share with us your journey, how the journey started as being an entrepreneur, Jonathan.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me here. This is really, really dope. Thank you, Enoch and Mazik, for hosting. And I'm excited to join you guys today and kind of talk about entrepreneurship. So, a couple different things got it kicked off. One, I think I was always very, very ambitious. When I was young, I had a big vision, big goals for myself. And, I had dreams that I wanted to execute on. Two, my father, he was an entrepreneur when he was very, very young. Got started very early, and he would talk about his early successes on Saturday afternoon as we had coffee, and I would listen to these stories like, oh my God, this is amazing. Granted, he came to Canada and he didn't feel comfortable taking as many risks, with family and all that anymore, but I think that kind of planted some seeds in me. As far as actual starting my first business, it kind of happened by luck. in a way. The smaller one was I was flipping hats, like Polo Ralph Lauren is like a big brand here. And I went to California in America. We went to the outlet mall by the Mexican border one day on vacation, and I saw these hats were going for $20. And I knew back in Toronto, these hats are going for $80. So I said, okay, you know, instead of just going on a shopping spree, let me buy, you know, 6 or 7 of these, and, you know, cost me $140. And I went back and I flipped them. You know, my mom was like, this is crazy, you know, because I was probably about 15 at the time, 14, 15. And I was going to go meet people at the subway station, you know, making you know, postings online and all that. My mom was just like, what are you doing? You know, I'll give you the money. You don't need to do this. But, you know, I liked the idea of, you know, being able to flip something, you know, and not necessarily just have to trade my time for that money. And that's what kind of got me going. But even then, I still thought maybe I'm going to, you know, go into medicine or law or something like that. But the next thing that happened is when I was 16, I was at a festival, Eritrean festival here in Toronto, and I saw a young guy. He was, you know, probably in his late 20s, driving a nice car, you know, talking to some pretty good looking girls. I'm like, what does this guy do? You know, what do you do, man? And lucky enough, you know, I went up and I approached him. You know, I had some balls to do that. And I said, hey, man, like, what do you do? You know, he said, I'm in real estate. And I said, okay, so you sell houses? And he said, yeah, but, you know, I'm an investor. So it's not really the same thing. And I said, what's the difference? And he's like, okay, you know what? This is not the time for this conversation, but take my card and, you know, we'll chat. So, you know, I harassed him for about 6 months after that, you know, just trying to meet up with this guy and just get a chance to talk to him. You know, he would answer like, who is this? Like, what's your name again? You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, I'm that kid. And finally, anyways, he let me, you know, we got a chance to hang out for a little bit. And I started shadowing him. And he was a real estate investor. He owned a number of condos in the downtown Toronto. And then he was also a real estate agent, which means he was buying and selling for people. So, and the cash that he was making as an agent, he was then investing into his own properties. And so, you know, that it opened my mind up very, very, very young, especially, you know, when he opened up his books to me, you know, and I was able to see that this is a guy, he was also an immigrant. You know, he came from Eritrea when he was about 13 or 14. You know, did all the right things, finished high school, university, and started his own business, and really started growing it. So it made me, number one, see somebody that looked like myself and see that, okay, this is possible, you know, because up until that point, a lot of my cousins who, you know, my parents were saying, oh, look at this person, look at that person, you know, they were doing good things for themselves. You know, one is a teacher, you know, another one works at some firm, but personally, I had bigger ambitions. So I was in a point where I was like, is this all? But what he did was he opened up, you know, that whole world of possibility, you know. So I say that to say, long story, that's the background. The real first successful business that I was able to build in Toronto was Airbnb and short-term rentals, hospitality business. So at the time, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Airbnb. It's a pretty big global brand where people can rent their houses. This was around 2013, 2014. So what, you know, he was doing, my mentor, and I was helping him run that business. But then I branched off and I started picking up my own units. What I would do is I would lease a condo for, let's say, $1,800, $2,000 a month. I would furnish it. That would cost me about $4,000 to furnish it. TV, sofa, bed, art, everything. And then I would list it on Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, and we would get about $200 a night, you know? So the good thing was, you know, I was able to get into the real estate industry with very low access. It cost $8,000 because, again, $2,000 a month. You know, landlords, they want first and last upfront. So $4,000 and then $4,000 to furnish. So $8,000 all in. And I had my own place and I could furnish it and, you know, get it rented for $200 a night. I quickly scaled that up to about 4 or 5 properties. And and that was very, very exciting. You know, I was learning a lot. I was dealing with more money than I had ever touched. I was probably maybe 19 at the time. And, you know, it was definitely a lot to deal with. But like anywhere in life, when you're focused in one area, opportunities just come to you. So I started acquiring contracts on residential buildings, commercial buildings, to do property management as well. And this was separate from the Airbnb. And then I was running businesses for, you know, another individual, all under this one hospitality company, the Sweet Stays. And that went well for some time. But I made a number of mistakes. I didn't build a strong foundation. I didn't have a strong team. You know, I made choices and decisions to do business with people based on the money, not on do our values align and do we have a common vision. And so I made a number of mistakes, and after 4 or 5 years, I had to close that business. But you know, that experience and being able to build that business, it unlocked different parts of myself and made me understand the potential that I have. Okay, if I can do this, you know, on this scale with no experience and no support, okay, you know, I just have to, you know, now start again from the ground up and figure out, okay, what's the new opportunity and how do I make sure that I never go back again, you know? So that's been my journey, and I've got new ventures going on right now that I'm sure, you know, you guys might want to know or we can talk about. But that is, I think, the most important core essence to, you know, what really has laid the foundation for my journey as an entrepreneur.
Thank you so much. This is a really amazing and interesting journey, Jonathan. And I think, you know, as you mentioned, both Jonathan and Bisi, about your journey as being an entrepreneur, I'm sure there is a skills and mindset behind this successfulness. So if you can both share with us, you know, what made you successful through this journey? Is it the skills, the mindset? You can share more about that, you know. We can start with Bisi again. Sorry, ladies again first.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, when you
So
talk
what made
about
you successful? Yeah, so, you know, what made you successful?
Yes, I could say when you talk about success in entrepreneurship, and for me, I think it's believing in God's creative values in me. Because it's a one thing when you look at the entrepreneur sector, it wasn't something that was that common, as in that everybody wants to go into at that time when I started it. Everybody was scared of so many things. And for me, it was just believing that, yes, I think I can do this. There are deposits, there are creative abilities in me that God has imputed in me. And I think, I know I wasn't complacent to just make sure that all these things are out and I will use them. Because actually I was comfortable with the payment of 8 to 5. I had no much responsibility to do. Even as at 8 to 5, as I graduated, I was still taking some, given some stipend from my parents. I had everything, the fringe benefit from work and every other thing. They were so enticing for me to just be complacent and continue with my 8 to 5. But I think it's just admitting that there is something more than what you are even having at the moment. There's something in myself that I need to tap and make sure I use this thing. So that was for me, the abundant creative abilities in me. I was like, I need to do something about this thing. And the other thing is the personal values. I've seen that in that industry, you need to have some values. The values of integrity, it will pave way for you, because it's not an industry that is that well established. It's something you are going to build yourself. So you need personal values. Those backgrounds will be the basic thing for you to succeed, even as an entrepreneur. And you need that passion, because there will be challenges, personal challenges, there will be the business challenges for you. So if the passion is not there, what drives you? You know, that the passion brings in the energy that even when the challenges are there, you're able to push beyond what is going on. So you need those things. You must be a go-getter. I think that was a natural ability that God has already deposited in me. I was just like, I must get this done. When the moment I see things getting done, it gives me more energy that no, I can achieve more. So it pushes me more, and you must be confident in yourself. I think I was blessed with the opportunity of that skill from my dad. He built those confidence in me, that because during those times I was facing people that were actually older than me, wealthier, and I was seeing so many things bigger than my age. So he built that confidence in me. So getting into that business gave me the opportunity to exercise those confidence. So that was one of those things for me. And you must be a good planner. I was able to plan myself. Okay, this, even when it's failing, you must not give up. And resilient spirit was there for me. So those were those things that were able to help me.
This is amazing, Bisi. It's competency, passion, believing in yourself, and the personal values, And this is really amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, Bisi. We go to Jonathan. Jonathan, what made you successful in your journey as being an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think Bisi really hit it on the head, man. I think what makes me successful is what makes every other entrepreneur successful, and it's exactly what she talked about. Having integrity in the way that you moved. I mentioned how not paying attention to values in the partnerships that I was fostering with people led to failure in my first business. And grit, passion. These are all common denominators that are going to be elements in whether you will be successful or unsuccessful as an entrepreneur. Another thing that I would say, aside from those really core foundational pieces, that's been key to my journey as an entrepreneur. Are two things. One is ability to spot a gap in the market, and seeing where there are problems and people see their problems, I see opportunities. If there's a problem, that means that somebody hasn't solved this yet, and maybe I can offer this solution to the market. And then you start to work backwards and say, can I offer this solution? Is it in my skill set? How can I do that? And really, having that perspective with problems is key to entrepreneurship. The second thing I would say is, and it builds on Bisi's point about having confidence, is I think as people, we have a tendency to go with the herd, because we feel that the herd is safe. If everyone's doing something, it must be the right thing to do, and it must be the safe bet, So whereas,
sorry to interrupt, it's the comfort zone, yeah.
The comfort zone, yeah, it's comfortable, and you almost have this like sense of security in seeing that, okay, so it's not just me, this person's doing this person's doing this, so it must be the right thing. And what happens is you have so many people trying to compete to get into this door right here, and because everybody believes that this is the door that's going to lead to where you need to go. But what I've consistently done is I'll just walk around the corner and I'll see there's another door there that's open that no one's really competing for, and I'll just walk right in through that door and take that. It's an analogy, and I'm not sure I'm doing the best way of explaining it, but sometimes rather than following the herd, I think I oftentimes I'll maybe even question and say, what am I missing, and what's in the opposite direction that nobody is seeing here, and then have the confidence to take that route when not everybody is doing it, and what happens is when you start off, people aren't necessarily going to understand, going to follow you, and that's how my journey as far as in the nonprofit community space, building that organization started. You're going to start off and take those first steps, and maybe there's no one there, but you keep working at it, you keep building, you keep gaining that traction. I believe, build it and they will follow, so those would be two other, you know, key points if I could add on to what BC
Perfect.
you know, so
No,
eloquently.
really perfect. No, this is really excellent, Jonathan. Yeah, and I can, you know, recap on that. It's have the sense of data analytic and signaling, how to read the signal, so you can understand where to move around. Yeah, and I like the point that you mentioned is to be unique. You don't have to follow the herd. Just be unique. Like, you know, that's one of the very important kind of like a skill or a mindset that you need, you know, in a business like you know, real estate or any other business sectors, to be unique. So we have another interesting question for both BC and Jonathan is in this business of real estate, there are a lot of myths about it. And I'm sure, you know, you can share how we can or how people can avoid these kind of myths in a real estate business. So we go again to Bisi. If you can share with us, please.
Okay, I would like to say, like, deal like with two. There is one that is so popular in business. They say returns are quick. That's why so many African businesses fail, because, you know, the moment you get into business and you get profits, you are like, wow, this is a good one to go with. And before you know it, Africans generally, we are spenders. The mentality of just spending and spending is so much in Africans that we are consumers. We just keep on consuming and consuming. The more you make, you expand even your expenditure. And that is a wrong mindset for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, I believe you are in the market to disrupt normalcy and to innovate and bring in new services and products. And so even this generation should change from that kind of mindset of just spending, even if returns are coming in. Like myself in real estate, you have a lot of gap to fill. You have a lot of problem to solve. And the more problem you solve, the wealthier you become. So in that industry, for example, I don't think we are yet ready to solve the housing deficit. I have not seen any nation near solving the housing deficit. So you see more problems. You see more processes, more opportunities to diversify instead of laying your foundation on returns are quick and so keep on spending. You know, you think of the next car to buy, the next this to buy, the next that to do, and that is a very wrong one for entrepreneurs to do, because the African economy and there is this kind of mentality that the economy is so tiny anywhere, this and that. But I tell you, in the middle of all this, we see more people buying, investing. We've seen more people invest into real estate, especially for us in Nigeria, especially since COVID started. From 2019, we have seen more investors trooping in through education about the real estate industry and how it brings in money to you. So we've seen a lot of people, despite the GDP coming down and all stores, we've seen more people investing. I was shocked one day when a teacher brought in a lump sum of money, like she wanted to invest in real estate. And this was the same person telling me she had no money in her account, and I was shocked. I said, no, we don't have no cash. Will you rush to the bank and deposit that? And I was shocked. And later I sat her down trying to know how she made such money. You know, schools were on lockdown. Most school investors were not paying salaries. And when she started telling me how she made this money, I was shocked. And so I stuck to that and said, no, consumers are not poor. Though we have a large middle class that has been erased, it doesn't mean that consumers are poor. So those are the things I want entrepreneurs to believe it is not. And consumers are not poor. We may have the poor class, but yet there is still market for every product and services if you are innovative enough. That is the key word, if you are innovative enough. So you have to come out with your creative abilities in whatever field you have to be able to get into the pocket of your clients, your consumers, or your customers. The money is there.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
that is what I want entrepreneurs never to believe, that consumers are poor. Yes, and investment is not risky. Yes, initially, you are like coming into somewhere that is so new. Like Jonathan has said, he made some mistake, and I believe it's from those mistakes that you become wiser. There is no entrepreneur that will not make any mistake. Those mistakes open your eyes to more opportunities and better way to plan and so many other things. So don't believe that investment is risky. In fact, the more riskier that investment is, the better for you to plug your head into it, because there will be fewer people with such opportunity. And if you are innovative enough, if you are open-minded, you're able to grab a lot of opportunity in that sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bisi. Yep. This is well. Actually, I can just add a small remark on consumerism. Why we become a very consumers in Africa and many nations. I think media plays a major role on that. Media throws too much stuff and tells you buy this, buy that, and and if you don't like this, go and get that. So I think media plays a role, unfortunately, but I think we need to play our role as an individual. Is we have to set our mind that we have to learn that there's a necessity, not a luxury in life. So yeah, thank you so much, Bisi. Jonathan, give us your 2 cents on that. What are the myths on the businesses in the real estate that we need to avoid, please?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, BC's been making it tough to follow because she's been hitting all the points before I can get to them. But yeah, I mean, there's no get rich quick schemes, and this is real estate, this is business, this is stocks, whatever it is. There is no get rich quick scheme. So if that's what you're going into this thinking that you're going to get, you're going to be surely disappointed, because it takes time, and it takes time to build something that will last, and we can get lucky, and hit some big jackpots here and there, and I'm sure we'll all hear about our cousin or our friend who they invested in this thing, and then it went so well, but the first thing is, can they do it again? And can they do it again and again and again and again? The chances are they cannot. Everybody can get lucky, but if you want to build real wealth, almost indestructible wealth, it's going to take time. And that's the first thing. And to build on that, the second thing is, I'm not so familiar with the understanding of entrepreneurship within so much the psyche of the common African. But in the West, it's entrepreneurship is like it's like a way to basically just make some money and then end up going on an island and just relaxing for the rest of your life on a beach. But that's not the case. And more likely than not, any investment, any business is always going to require energy, time, and attention. Even the most passive business is always going to require some energy, time, and attention. So if you're not comfortable with the idea that more likely than not, even when you get to a point where you are very, very established and you have a solid business, you're still going to have to spend a couple hours a week at the very, very, very least, tending to these things, because, nobody's going to manage your business like you are. If you don't want it, you might as well just sell it. And anything that's valuable, you need to take care of it. And it takes time, attention, and energy once again. So, this is not just like some way to just, get rich and then go on an island. It takes real work. And even when you get to a point where you are established, you can't just like let it go and just, disappear. It's always going to require some energy and attention, but the freedom that you're going to get from being able to leverage such a business and being self-made is going to make it worthwhile anyways, so.
This is very excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. I think we've got like almost 20 minutes left, maybe 20 minutes left, around 20 minutes left. Do we open the floor for our audience for, to get their questions, Mr. Enoch? Is it okay? Well, I think, we had an interesting discussion with BC and Jonathan, and because we have a limited time, we would like to hear from our audience, so we can open the floor right now for questions. So we thank Bisi and Jonathan for this amazing discussions and their thoughts. So if anyone have a question, please, you can use the reaction button, or you can send us on the comment or on the chat, sorry, on the chat. So let's find the questions. All right, so we've got a question from Jacqueline Modisi, asking about, could we then not say, could we not say in Africa context, entrepreneurship is seen as a survival mechanism as the job market is saturated in most sectors, hence highly unemployment rates? This is maybe to Bisi. About the entrepreneurship in Africa and the survival and high employment rates. Maybe the question not clear here. Maybe Jacqueline can ask her question. If she can unmute and ask her question, please. Jacqueline, what do you see? Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So my question is basically directed to any of the speakers. But I wanted to say, because Jonathan mentioned about the American context and it being like entrepreneurship, some people use it as a tool to sort of, I guess, save up for like enjoyment, basically. So I wanted to bring in the African context and ask whether, if maybe most people go into entrepreneurship, not that they are, I guess, 100% passionate about entrepreneurship, but more so to survive, because there is quite high unemployment rate in South Africa as a case study, but overall Africa as a whole.
Okay, thank you, Jacqueline, for your remarks. We've got a question from Tamer Aziz. So Tamer is asking both Bisi and Jonathan. I have a question for both Bisi and Jonathan. What is it that makes you different in your journey of an entrepreneurship? Thank you, Tamir. So the question is both to Jonathan and Bisi. So anyone wants to answer the question? From Tamer Aziz.
Yeah, I can go ahead. Bisi, do you want to take that?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I would say what makes me different. I mean, again, we're all the same and unique in the same way. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm different in my uniqueness, in who I am and what my experiences are, and the fact that no one has had that, you know, and not to say no one has had that. I'm sure there are people with similar experiences, but I'm the only Jonathan, with my life and my understanding of things and my perspective, and so that makes me unique in my approach to the way that I see things. What would make me different is just me staying in my own lane. And knowing who I am and what my lane is. There's as Nipsey Hussle would say, there's no traffic in your lane. And I'm not trying to compete with everybody else or do what everybody else is doing, but I'm trying to do what I can do best. And that's how I end up competing with myself. And that's what also makes me different from everybody else. I hope that answers your question, Tamara.
Thank you, Jonathan. Bisi, would you like to add on this?
Okay, I think being an entrepreneur, one of the importance of entrepreneurship is to improve the standard of living, whether for individuals or even for a nation. So I think even if it's like unemployment that has created that opportunity in Africa, I think that is a good one for what the creative ability in individual, your personality to come out. I've seen a lot of artists in Nigeria, for example. I've seen a lot of them becoming better. I've seen a lot of them that never knew they had something in them. until that hardship came. And before we knew it, wow, they are there and everybody's like, wow. So even COVID has revealed in so many people their creative abilities, their endowment that they never discovered. So you need something to even push you to discover what is inside of you. So I think if that unemployment has drive out those virtues in humanity, I think we need to grab it, because entrepreneurship is even more about solving problems. So you dare not solve a problem that you have never discovered. So if that has been discovered, unemployment is on the rise, then every individual should sit up and think, what can I do better to improve my personal standard of living and the economy of my nation and even the continent and even the whole world at large? For a lot of people that have been into so many things, it wasn't out of complacency. A lot of people, check it in the tech world and all the likes, it wasn't out of complacency. There were problems there for them to solve, and that prompted some virtues in them, and they were able to get to where they are. And that will keep on coming up because our world is full of enough problems for us to solve. So it goes down to every individual looking at, what can I do in my community? How can I be of value? So in entrepreneurship, you are adding value to the society, and in return, money is coming back to you and creating wealth for yourself and for your nation. And you are even laying a legacy, because by the time you are able to achieve that, some other people see you and say, wow, if you have this, I think I have something similar to it. And before you know it, there will be diversification into different sectors, and our world is transforming. So I hope I'm able to say something about that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bisi. Yeah, appreciate that. We've got another question from Norhan. It's both for Bisi and Jonathan. How can you keep on or preserve your competency?
Yeah, there's multiple ways to do so. I want to even just touch on quickly Jacqueline's point about high unemployment rates or lack of job opportunities. I would allude back to that first point that I made about seeing problems as opportunities. And you can look at that and say, I can't get a job, or there's a high unemployment rate, et cetera. Or you can say, okay, so because acquiring a job is difficult, maybe I'm going to create one, and I'm going to be the person to now create more employment. And how can I do that? What problems can I solve in my current market? Talking about, entrepreneurship being seen as a survival mechanism, it's not just an African context, it's a human context. Everywhere around the world, we are just trying to survive, whether you're here, whether you're there. All of these systems and tools we're trying to leverage is just to make sure that we can survive fundamentally, right? So that doesn't really change where you are. But reframe how you're thinking about that. You can see that as a problem, or you can see that as actually more of an opportunity about why you should be not a job seeker, but a job creator. That'll be the first thing. The second thing I'll say to Nurhan's question about how you can keep on preserving your competence. I'm pretty big on reading. I'll just throw it in my bookshelf right here. I got a whole bunch over here. All of my favorite reads, and I read about all sorts of things to improve myself, and not just about business. Right now I'm reading Russell Brand's Freedom from Our Addictions, and that's more so for personal growth and really figuring out some bad habits that we have. Why do I like to indulge in chocolate too much, or what I mean, like these things that ultimately they don't serve me or my business and will improve me as a person. So reading about self-development, not too much fiction, to be honest, more so on business, learning about history, politics, and also studying people who have done what I want to do. So big business magnates, understanding what did they do, what were the challenges that they faced, and how did they overcome them. That's constantly giving me the inspiration that I need, but then also the lessons from learning from these people to improve my own competence that I can apply on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, since you have something to add on that, how can you keep on preserve your competency?
Just like Jonathan has said, updating yourself. The world is not static. So you keep on updating yourself. You keep on self-development. And I think entrepreneurship is more of self, is more on self. Your business depends on you. So self-development, that has helped me a lot. I developed myself in business. I've developed everything about me that even my family has been like, I've seen tremendous changes in my life, and I make sure I set a priority on such development. After every quarter, I watch out, how is my life? How is my business? How is my health? How is my family? And everything, I make sure I carry my family along with my development because I don't want any setback on me. So, and that has been very helpful for me. I'm a better person almost every time, even to the extent of fashion, to the extent of my health, because it's an holistic thing and you represent your business. So that's why, because it's even to level of relationship, because business to me is more of relationship. In real estate, it's a legacy of life. It's a lifetime investment. So I have to make sure I improve my relationship from time to time. Bad habit must give way. That's why I said the basic background of success in any business is yourself. Is yourself, your virtues, the values in your life. You keep on updating them from time to time. And you see such changes happening in your life, and it revolves into your business too. And your customers, your clients, your team of professionals, they're able to see that and they inculcate that into their life too. So it makes your business run even ahead of others. And many people will keep on asking you why. There are sacrifices that you have to make. And it's better for you on the long run. So you become better every day. Your competence is shining. You are a light even in whatever sector you are from time to time. So I think that is very important for every business. I had a policy. I have percentages of my income that goes to such self-development. I dare not, some goes to the investment, some goes to this. So I have to apportion that, prioritize that, so that the discipline comes up in your life. Your business is revolving almost every time, and you balance yourself even globally.
Thank you, Bisi, on this. We've got another question from Liakra. My apologies if I pronounce your name correctly, but there's this question says that, is it possible to start a business on your own? Because sometimes it's hard to find those who have the common vision. Anyone would like to answer on this, Bisi or Jonathan, please?
It's hard. It's very hard to get people of like visions, but you can't give up. You have to keep on trying. And that's what entrepreneurship is all about. You have to keep on trying. I have one policy. I pray my way into everything. I do it hard. Yes, I do it hard. Like the kind of business I do, it says the head is the Lord's. So I make sure that, God, you must set me up with those people of like visions. And even if you don't get them on time, you have to keep on. You have to keep on keeping on. And in your process of keeping on, you will just stumble on yourselves. I've seen times that clients have to come and partner with me because they see the level of competence and the delivery we're able to make. They even helped us to diversify the business. I sold property to a particular high profile. And in the middle of that, the high profile said, no, he is a very high profile man, an elderly person. And he said, no, I think you have to build for us. I was wondering, we are not yet into building, but he said, no, you have to build for us because I can trust your judgment, the way you approach the business. So I have to gather my team of professionals, and with my little knowledge of building from my father, I was like, I can even invite him. Do you know the fortunate thing about it? He's a retired builder from Federal Palace Hotel. He's an expert in building. So he was like, he's ready to bring in his competence, his wealth of experience to assist us, but he found us reliable for the project he wanted to do. So I had to supervise that project with my team of professionals, and alongside him, we were able to deliver even on time. So even in the process of that, he actually gave us an office free of charge on a live usage, that please, we want you around us. These are the kind of people we want. But it didn't just happen a day. It was over years that I've been in the business that happened. And today we are like father and daughter businesses. So I've been inculcated into his business. They are into building materials from China. They import that. Our team, our marketing team and partners have been helping out too. So if I had stopped somewhere because of one challenge, or I've not seen somebody with like vision, I'm sure we wouldn't have come across ourselves. So it's a journey. It's not a day job, it's a journey. We keep on moving. Whether we fail, we pick it up from there. We learn our lessons and we keep on moving until we reach our goal. Go getter, you won't give up.
Thank you. Jonathan, have something to add on that?
Yeah, I think the important thing is that you have the vision. That's the important thing. Do you have a vision of where you want to go? And is it within, do you have some skill sets, or are you willing to build on those skill sets to start that journey? You have to be willing to walk that road alone for some time. And, you know, people are going to join you that are going to have a common vision, but they might leave, you know, and you know, I had this is on the nonprofit side, you know, we had scaled it up, our presence. We were serving thousands of people in a year, and 4 key people left the organization. And you know, I had to make a decision. Am I going to fold and close this whole organization down because this, or are we going to keep pushing forward? And, you know, there was a real moment where I had to make that decision. And, you know, there were other people on the team, but they were looking at me like, what are we going to do? And I said, we got to just keep moving forward, you know, and that ultimately, it came from a belief within myself that, you know, I understand what we need to do. I have a vision for where we need to go. We're going to keep pushing and the right people will come along. And they did. So the important thing is it starts from you, you know, and you have to be willing to walk that road alone, because there's not always going to be people who are going to be with you. There's not always going to be people who are going to agree with you in what you want to do.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, thanks for this ad. Maybe we can have another question from Swamo. It's for both Bisi and Jonathan. What you found? Yeah, what are the most challenging things you found when you became an entrepreneur? For Jonathan and Bisi, please. The most challenging you found when you became an entrepreneur.
I would say the most challenging thing is being patient, because, you know, I sit here and I talk to you guys about this is not a get rich quick scheme, but I want to get rich quick, you know? So it's really learning to develop that patience. You have to be almost aggressively patient in the process, because there's going to be a lot of days where I want to quit, you know, and I'm like, I'm sick of this. Is this ever going to work? You know? And do I really have it in me? Am I just a fraud? You know, do people just, you know, do they buy into something that, you know, it's not really what I have within me? There's going to be all sorts of these different thoughts and feelings that come during the process. And, you know, it's like, if you ever even work out or exercise, you know, there are periods maybe where you're putting in the work, you're putting in the effort, but you're not seeing results. You know, what do? Do you quit? You know, the temptation is going to be there to quit, you know, but you really just got to keep pushing through even when you're not, and trust that there's going to be a breakthrough at some point, you know? And that period, that's patience. It's learning to trust the process and have patience in the process, and know that, you know, I'm not where I want to be right now, because if you're ambitious and you have goals and visions and dreams, your appetite is always going to grow. And you're going to always fall short of just where you want to be. It's like we're chasing a ghost, but I got to be patient in that process and trust the process, and just keep working at it, even when the results are not, you know, showing up overnight.
Okay, I think Jonathan.
Yep, Bisi, please.
I think Jonathan has said it. For every business, we want to have results as fast as possible, especially when you are putting in the right tools and For me, it was something like that. Results weren't coming as the efforts were, and getting people of like minds into the business was a big challenge. We will have this set of people like get rich quick people around you. People that are incompetent. Like our kind of job, we need people, we need photographers, we need professional ones. I wasn't able to get that. So it dragged me into doing so many things. It dragged me into creative abilities, people that could give us very fantastic designs. It dragged me into knowing how to do some things myself. So that was a pain for me because the workload was somehow so heavy. But I became a better person. I went into designing. I never went to a graphic design school, but to sit down and start doing so many things, because when you give the job out to some people, you are not getting the best of them. So it was like it was an outcry from me. How do I get people? We pay so much, but the services were not as beautiful as we were expecting. So that was a big challenge for me because I have a kind of vision, a kind of design. I want the way my heart is to pour out my designs that way. I wasn't able to get such people. So I had to go into so many things. And from there, we were getting better, getting people of like minds, and some people I had to train myself that no, this is how I want this to be done. You know, that takes a lot of energy, a lot of work. When you should have been doing something better, you have to be doing that. Alongside, I discovered some abilities in me. I had to go into training. I started training realtors. I started consulting for some real estate developers because they weren't giving us what we really needed. And the market was, you know, flooded with wrong people. So I started some VIP training for real estate developers, putting them through. That was hectic anyway. It was hectic.
Thank you, Bisi. I would first apologize to all our audience because it's going to be our last question. So this is the last question, but we'll give it, for Hamda Ibrahim. So this question for both Jonathan and Bisi. The question is, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you were first starting out as an entrepreneur? Jonathan, Bisi, anyone would like to?
Yeah, I can speak on it. I don't know if they're gonna be so happy, but I don't really. I mean, I made mistakes, and in that I can speak to the mistakes that I made. The idea that I would, I'm thinking back about, going back and doing things differently. I don't. I'm happy, in the biggest quote unquote failure, which was my first business. I'm happy I took the step and I took the risks and I was aggressive and, I took chances, at a point in my life where I could. And so I don't regret that at all. I have no regrets about that. But again, it's focusing on those core things, doing business and engaging in enterprises that align with my personal values and not doing things for the money. That's number one. For a long time, in the first biz, I was doing it for the money, and the money's cool, but when the going gets tough, it's not going to sustain you. At least it didn't sustain me. That's for sure. The second thing is I was focused on developing my business, but I wasn't as focused on developing myself. And your business is only going to grow as much as your own personal development. So we talk about, reading, taking care of my health, quality family time, making sure I'm getting enough sleep and I'm regimenting my sleep. These are, key things that are important to maintaining a business and growing it long term, versus what I was doing at the time, which was just go. I'd be working 25 hours a day, and then on Sunday I'm gonna crash. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your body. It's not good for your business or sustainable long term. So I think those are the two key things I would have wanted to do differently the first time around.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Bisi, if you'd like to add something on that, please.
Okay, I think I was not able to get the legality of business then because I had a couple of clients that actually played on our ignorance legally. So I didn't take real cognizance of the legality of business and negotiation. So that was where I learned so many things from that. They were out of the books. We didn't put those things to books. So they played on our ignorance, they played on our innocency, and well, they were able to get through that. And it was a big lesson for me that in business, everything had to be spelled out. It must be legally binded. Every agreement, every expenses, every income, everything. So that was what I actually learned. And I felt I should have learned this ahead of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Bisi. Thank you so much. Well, we are at the final stage of our webinar. So I thank everyone and every audience who sent us their questions, and we thank our amazing guests, Jonathan and Bisi, for answering. So for a closing remarks, we will have both from our amazing guests, Jonathan and Bisi, to give us 1 minute closing remark for our final minutes for the final webinar of today. So 1 minute closing remarks. Bisi, if you can give us 1 minute closing remarks, please.
So from my end, I want to appreciate everybody on the platform and for giving me this opportunity to share with us. I want to encourage everyone going to entrepreneur or every entrepreneurship that is already existing to be disciplined. Discipline is very key in business. As you are making it, be disciplined with your finance, be disciplined with your health, be disciplined with the business. Don't just take things for granted. Watch out for relationship. Relationship for me has been a very good deal for me in businesses. When people say, wow, because it is you, I'm going into this business. So it tells me business is relationship and relationship is business. So that is what I want us to just know. As if whether Africans or Westerners, relationship is key. It keeps on your legacy, it keeps on your business, it keeps on your personality, everything. It's all about relationship. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Bisi. Jonathan, please, 1 minute closing remarks, please.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you for having me as well. This has been really, really awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the session and everything that I had to share. I would say a couple things. Number one, key foundations to success is, as Bisi mentioned, integrity and the way that you handle yourself. And the way that you do business. Sometimes we're tempted to take shortcuts, but integrity definitely pays off in the long run. And I think it's also important for us to know that we are all in this room the solution to our own problems, whether it's in our personal lives or whether it's in the context of Africa and the solutions that are there. I was born in Toronto, but I have a deep connection to where I'm from and what's going on over there. And I definitely, want to make some moves over there. It's important for us to understand that, we're all connected, diaspora within the African continent, and that B, we are all the solution to our own problems. So go get it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jonathan, and really thank you for our amazing guests, Jonathan and Bisi, and our amazing audience as well. So now the floor is to Mr. Enoch, our founder for the African Rebirth, for the final remarks, please.
Wow, I am very speechless. Great insights in the room. I was taking notes. My goodness, it's very good to have like entrepreneurs. When you host most politicians, they don't talk about the real life business. And the foundation of every person, whether you want to grow richer, wealthier, significant, you must learn the art to make money, And I like the art of entrepreneurs is to maximize profits. And I wish most of us would think like entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs don't see colors. They don't see labels, tribes in the context of Africa, they see connections like Bisi was saying that add value to their businesses and their growth. And the reason why I chose to host a business seminar, mostly on real estate. Jonathan, at least I know Jonathan, met Jonathan, very incredible guy. Bisi, very nice to meet you. It's the last thing you would do. And like Bisi said, it's a legacy business. And once you master real estate, your wealth is generational. It's not like selling pizza, you know, it keeps on working for itself. Like in the context of Toronto, guys who have condos, they can go to Mexico and have fun for the rest of the year. Their money keeps on coming. Their money keeps on coming. And we have this myth that to be a real estate guy, you must be in your late 50s, near in your retirement age. No, it's very, very possible to start it now. And I think Jonathan can be a testament. Jonathan is known in his late 50s, you know. So what I'm saying is we should master the epitome of businesses. And as young people of Africa, that is incredible. Real estate is still a virgin industry. Like we need to develop and discover it. And so we're in a business seminar, and the one guy raised an interesting question, like who funded the sponsors, okay? The investors, who sponsored the investors? And because we brought that, because of most of the things is like, I don't have capital to start a business. I don't have. So one guy raised the question, who funded those investors? We are begging for money to start our businesses. So the answer is they funded themselves or they found out someone. So the issue, capital can't be an excuse. You must find your way out, you know. So I think it's been an incredible seminar. And thank you so much, Mazid, for wonderful moderation. Thank you so much, Bisi. When I'm in Nigeria, I will make sure we meet. Jonathan, you're in Toronto. Every day I see you. I will see you soon. So thank you very much. And to the wonderful audience, those are very provocative questions. And it's very, very inspiring. So thank you very much, everyone. And I wish everyone happy holidays and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And thank you very much, Mazig. Back to you.
Happy New Year, everyone. Merry Christmas. Take care. All the best. See you in 2022.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I would like the ambassadors to stay behind a little bit. Just 5 minutes, man. It's not a whole an hour. Yeah.